You might remember that we talked about Kytch v. McDonald's earlier, except it was Kytch v. Taylor. Kytch is the company that has made a solution that fixes McDonald's ice cream machines, the ones that make McFlurries, and I think also soft serve, and maybe some of their frozen drinks that use ice cream or soft serve. Kytch is this third-party independent company not associated with McDonald's and Taylor, but Kytch has been selling their solution, which is basically just a box that sort of interfaces with McDonald's ice cream machines and is able to read information from the machine, send commands to the machine, and interpret errors with the machine more efficiently than the machines were made to do. Taylor is the company that makes the machines, and Kytch accuses them of intentionally sabotaging the machines, or at least using the frequent problems with the machines as an excuse to require McDonald's to pay for service visits. Kind of like the John Deere thing, only John Deere technicians can repair John Deere tractors, at least things that involve the ECU, the engine control unit. This is similar. Only Taylor can fix the problems with the McDonald's ice cream machines. The ice cream machines frequently break or frequently suffer from technical problems, and supposedly McDonald's is beholden to Taylor for those fixes. Kytch comes in as a third party, makes this solution, and has agreements with the independent McDonald's franchisees that this information is trade secret and is supposed to be confidential. Well, eventually McDonald's gets a hold, or Taylor gets a hold, of one of these Kytch machines or add-ons, and then suddenly Taylor is making a very similar effort with their own machines to handle these problems in a similar way. So Kytch has accused Taylor of trade secret violations, has accused the franchisees of confidentiality violations. Now Kytch is suing McDonald's directly. So when I first saw this, I thought, wait, this is the same story. Well, yeah, it's the same story, but with a twist now. A soft serve twist. It's the same story with a twist that Kytch is now suing McDonald's. So instead of reading through 82 pages of this word by word, let's skim it a little bit and see what has changed or what connects Kytch's accusations directly to McDonald's as opposed to just Taylor. I'm guessing that Kytch tried to work this out with McDonald's and McDonald's refused, so Kytch is now trying to make claims in court that weren't able to be resolved out of court. McDonald's is best known for its world-famous burgers, fries, and broken ice cream machines. The problem is so widespread that even McDonald's has tweeted about the issue. We have a joke about our soft serve machine, but we're afraid it won't work. Thousands of frustrated customers complain about broken machines, and McDonald's operators are forced to pay for costly repairs and maintenance to keep the machines up and running. Some franchise operators have reported shelling out thousands of dollars per month in service fees to Taylor Company, the manufacturer of the machines, through its many franchise distributors. Despite these widespread issues, McDonald's has failed to meaningfully improve the machines, and the fast food giant has even granted Taylor exclusive rights to supply kitchen appliances to more than 13,000 retail locations in the United States. So if you're not familiar how this works, when you own a franchise of a larger company, so McDonald's owns McDonald's, and then you pay McDonald's for the right to run a restaurant under the franchise agreement. That means that you'll use the Golden Arches logo. It means that you'll hold your staff to a certain standard. It allows you to sell a Big Mac and a Quarter Pounder all within the rules and regulations that McDonald's makes about making and selling these products. So you get to be a McDonald's, but you are independently owned. Now, there are some McDonald's-owned franchises, and then there are some independent-owned franchises or franchisees. The franchise agreement means that McDonald's gets to dictate what equipment you use. use these fryers, use this oil, use these ingredients. In fact, McDonald's probably even supplies the ingredients directly, and McDonald's gets paid to supply the ingredients. Burger patties and sesame seed buns and French fries, all of that probably gets supplied by McDonald's. I'm not stating facts here, I'm guessing at how this works, but this is normal. There will be an arrangement in the franchise agreement about who controls all of this. McDonald's requires the ice cream machines to be Taylor ice cream machines, at least in the US. So there is some kind of monopoly, but it's okay. It's an allowed monopoly. That's the agreement, that McDonald's is going to only use this piece of equipment because that's the piece of equipment that makes the same McFlurry in every franchise location around the country and in many parts of the world. This arrangement generates millions of dollars of revenue for Taylor and its network of franchised distributors. McDonald's allows Taylor's monopoly to continue for two reasons. First, independent owner-operators and not McDonald's itself pay for Taylor's costly service and repair fees. And second, Taylor develops new commercial kitchen products exclusively for McDonald's. This lucrative scheme between McDonald's and Taylor continued uninterrupted for years until a tech startup developed the Kytch solution, a low-cost, data-driven fix for McDonald's broken C602 machines that one McDonald's operator described as very, very, very finicky. Jeremy O'Sullivan and Melissa Nelson co-founded Kytch and invented the Kytch solution, an independently developed Internet of Things computer device with proprietary software and an online interface that allows customers to monitor and control soft-serve machines remotely. The Kytch solution retrieves data from McDonald's soft-serve machines, displays it on Kytch's user-friendly interface, and adjusts settings hidden deep in the machines, which can prevent outages before the machines can detect an error. By delivering performance data directly to its customers, predicting errors, and adjusting machine settings, Kytch reduces machine downtime and minimizes the need for costly repair appointments. You might ask yourself, why wouldn't Taylor have done this already? Why wouldn't they add the features that their customers want and fix the problems that their customers are having? Well, it's because, in part, they can continue to charge for expensive service visits if these machines, which are required by McDonald's, break a lot. Well, then they can make some more money off of it. That's the accusation. In 2019, Kytch launched a confidential product trial after dedicating significant capital or money to develop the solution. The product trial allowed Kytch to aggregate and analyze machine hours to create automated adjustments that reduce the machine's downtime. By analyzing this customer data in real time, Kytch developed and fine-tuned a proprietary alert and notification system wildly popular with customers, launching Kytch's rapid market growth and instant success. The key part of that was the confidential nature of it. None of those things are illegal or protected for Taylor to do to their own machines. It's just that they didn't, and Kytch is then first to market with a solution. And Taylor can adopt many of those same features without any problem. But because the Kytch product was confidentially provided to McDonald's, if McDonald's franchisees then break the confidentiality agreement or breach the confidentiality agreement and share product information about the Kytch trial to Taylor, then there's some kind of legal claim. This is basically what trade secrets are for. None of this stuff is illegal or a patent or a trademark or a copyright. Instead, it's just that Kytch is first to market with an innovative solution, and they can then capitalize off of that by keeping that information confidential. And trade secret laws will protect that information so long as Kytch properly starts with confidentiality. As long as Kytch does their job properly, then trade secret law will protect the trade secrets from unauthorized disclosure. I'm guessing, without having seen it first, I'm guessing that that's what this is about. By contrast, McDonald's and Taylor have spent 20 years attempting to develop their own IoT solution for the broken machines, but the competing product will not permit users to fix the broken machines, only to monitor them in a limited fashion, unlike Kytch's. This enables Taylor to retain the revenue from its lucrative repair business. Regardless, McDonald's and Taylor's limited Internet of Things product called Open Kitchen has never launched because Taylor is not a software company and it lacked the know-how. Recognizing Taylor's limitations, in April 2019, Taylor's parent company, Middleby Corporation, purchased a tech company called Powerhouse Dynamics to try to modernize Taylor's machines, but these efforts to date have faltered. By the end of 2019, McDonald's tabled Taylor's proposed solution as premature for its restaurants. The project remained dormant until a February 2020 Business Insider article about Kytch highlighted many of the problems with Taylor's machines and described Kytch as a viable solution to correct unnecessary malfunctions that caused downtime. Now, you would think that upon learning about Kytch's product, its innovative product that fixes these problems, much to the excitement by the franchisees of the savings to their bottom line, you'd think that McDonald's would immediately authorize the Kytch solution to be attached to all the Taylor machines, and the problem would be done. Alas, no, we would not be here if that happened. The article described Kytch's success and explained that McDonald's operators were relying on the Kytch solution to manage Taylor's finicky machines. The positive coverage about Kytch angered McDonald's. Taylor's CEO described McDonald's leadership as all hot and heavy about Kytch's success that were described in the article. So the two companies joined forces to drive Kytch out of the marketplace. Unable to compete fairly with Kytch, McDonald's and Taylor enlisted a group of Kytch trial participants to develop a competing product that would prevent Kytch from fixing the machines. McDonald's and Taylor relied on Taylor's franchise distributors, including TF Group, to identify Kytch's customers and obtain Kytch's innovative technology. McDonald's and Taylor held bi-weekly meetings devoted to copying Kytch's technology from Kytch trial participants. Meeting minutes describe focus group sessions with Kytch customers and confirm that Taylor accessed valuable and non-public insights into Kytch's features, user experience, customer preferences, and alert management protocols, features from Kytch that McDonald's and Taylor admitted were lacking. Now, how did Kytch get that? Well, Kytch has already filed a lawsuit against Taylor. That lawsuit is probably working its way through the federal court system, and I'm guessing that discovery of relevant information has revealed that McDonald's had a more active hand in this and therefore helped violate a confidentiality provision, which is probably illegal. McDonald's Director of Global Equipment Mike Zagorski and Taylor CEO Jim Menard accessed the password-protected portions of Kytch's online interface, the Kytch Solution Platform, during a Zoom conference that McDonald's scheduled for June 23, 2020. TFG improperly obtained a physical Kytch solution device from Tyler Gamble in May of 2020, and Gamble provided TFG his login credentials to the KSP the following month. Using this unauthorized access, TFG sent Taylor screen captures depicting password-protected portions of the Kytch solution platform. And McDonald's, Taylor, Ph.D., and TFG coordinated to add features to Open Kitchen using feedback from Kytch's customers based on their user experience with Kytch. Despite this insider access to Kytch's confidential product trial, McDonald's and Taylor's Open Kitchen could still not keep up with Kytch. In mid-October 2020, after having access to the Kytch solution for months, Open Kitchen was still not ready to commercialize. Kytch was the only product on the market that was positioned to fix the soft-serve machines at McDonald's. Kytch soon gained market dominance after the largest organization of independent McDonald's operators, the National Owners Association, endorsed Kytch at its national conference. McDonald's took note and met with Taylor after the endorsement. According to Taylor's internal emails, McDonald's was putting all of their eggs into this basket to fight Kytch because they have nothing else ready from their own IT team. It would seem like a no-brainer to adopt the Kytch solution instead. I wonder what the motivation was to not adopt this ready and what I understand to be fairly inexpensive solution to fix the McDonald's machines. I wonder if there isn't some greed in there on McDonald's and especially on Taylor's part to keep the cost of maintaining these machines high in order to make profits. In other words, they're already making X amount of dollars off of the franchisees' making of McDonald's products and selling them to the customers. Well, what if you could make a little extra money by having a machine that frequently needs service, and then you charge a lot of money for that service? Now you get to make X plus Y amount of dollars, and you've cut into the franchisee's profits a little bit more. It seems plausible. In the days that followed, McDonald's Director of Equipment Mike Zagorski directed that things need to go much faster with Taylor's open kitchen development, which was moving at a turtle's pace. McDonald's also warned Taylor that independent restaurant operators were demanding that McDonald's integrate Kytch into the McDonald's system. This threatened to undermine Taylor's long-standing service and repair racket that the new open kitchen device was being designed to protect. McDonald's and Taylor needed to buy more time to get Open Kitchen to the market. To that end, McDonald's and Taylor worked together to create a stall tactic. Together they fabricated bogus safety claims to mislead Kytch's customers into believing that safety testing determined that the Kytch solution device would cause serious human injury to users. Claims that are, and that McDonald's and Taylor both knew to be, demonstrably false. And there's a copy of it. We have become aware that a few operators may be using unapproved aftermarket technology, Kytch, on their Shake Sunday machine. As a reminder, any operator that is using this aftermarket add-on will completely void any existing OEM equipment warranty. Even more concerning, McDonald's has recently determined that the Kytch device creates a potentially very serious safety risk for the crew or technician attempting to clean or repair the machine, given that the Kytch controller may cause the device to change its operation or continue running during cleaning or maintenance in a manner that can cause serious human injury. As such, McDonald's strongly recommends that you remove the Kytch device from any machines and discontinue all use, and is reminding you that any continued use is not approved and is at your sole risk. Even Taylor was surprised that McDonald's was so willing to go out of its way to disparage and defame the Kytch solution device. But the reason for McDonald's eagerness was clear. The false safety alert was a pretext to promote the new connectivity platform that McDonald's and Taylor needed time to develop and market to the independently owned restaurants. There's a copy of an email here. I'm a bit in shock that they are willing to take such a strong position. Beyond their Kytch statement, I think we want to promote the new connectivity platform as a Ph.D. concept. The claims in the ad about Kytch are demonstrably false and materially misleading to consumers. First, contrary to their assertions, McDonald's and Taylor have filed sworn declarations that they never tested the Kytch solution. Both McDonald's and Taylor tried to obtain the devices through Kytch, but they were unwilling to sign a binding non-disclosure/non-compete agreement to do so. Again, that's standard for trade secret protection. Second, Intertek, an industry leader in quality and safety product testing, has certified that Kytch satisfies all electrical safety requirements in accordance with the Underwriters Laboratory UL and FCC regulations. These are the same standards that apply to Taylor's soft serve machines used in McDonald's locations throughout North America. Third, Kytch was founded for the very purpose of and has been, in fact, improving the safety and reliability of the soft serve machines at McDonald's, and Kytch has never received a single report of injury caused by the Kytch solution. Fourth, far from being comparatively more dangerous than Taylor's competing device, the Kytch solution integrates and is constrained by the soft serve machine's safety mechanisms. For example, when the freezer door is removed, exposing interior parts of the machine that might create a safety risk, a magnetic interlock system disables motor function to protect the operator from injury, and Kytch cannot operate the machine remotely. Thus, while Kytch does have the ability to remotely control the machine, it is limited by Taylor's existing control mechanisms, including this magnetic interlock system, to ensure safety. Fifth, Kytch's interface gives users complete monitoring and control in real time of the Kytch solution's functions. Because of these safeguards and certifications, there is compelling direct evidence that conclusively disproves McDonald's claims that the Kytch solution is unsafe and uncontrollable. So it sounds like we have a trade secret violation, potentially, as well as maybe a defamation claim of some kind, maybe an unfair competition claim, or an interference with a contract claim, something like that. We'll see in a moment what's going on down below. McDonald's and Taylor knew their claims were false. Their primary source for intelligence about Kytch, Tyler Gamble, told them so. In the days before McDonald's and Taylor's false and deceptive ads were published, Gamble sought safety information from Kytch's founder, and unbeknownst to Kytch, forwarded O'Sullivan's explanation for why any safety concerns were baseless. Quote, "There are a number of layers of protection. First, the machine should be powered off and unplugged before any work is started. This is a standard safety feature for any equipment. Second, there is a sensor on the freezer door that when the freezer door is removed, prevents the motor from turning on. Third, we do have a mechanism in place that disables automation when a user takes control of the front panel by pressing any buttons. Also, the product has been tested and certified by UL and Intertech Labs." So McDonald's and Taylor received and understood these facts, but intentionally and recklessly disregarded them and falsely accused Kytch of being prone to cause serious human injury. The purpose was to convince McDonald's restaurant owners to cancel their contracts with Kytch and thwart Kytch's forward momentum in the market, giving McDonald's and Taylor more time to develop their competing open kitchen system. Indeed, a full 8 months before McDonald's and Taylor's false ads, McDonald's insiders informed Kytch that McDonald's and Taylor would fabricate safety concerns to destroy Kytch's business. Quote, "If they don't want Kytch in the market, they're going to throw that safety stuff at you to throw you under the bus and keep putting that at you until you go away eventually." Those words were prescient. To date, McDonald's and Taylor still have not released Open Kitchen. They claim in court filings that development is nearly complete, but this development was only possible because they obtained, improperly, Kytch's proprietary confidential information. The damage to Kytch was instant and monumental. Customers contacted Kytch in the days following the ads and canceled their subscriptions because of McDonald's false assertions that Kytch was unsafe and prone to cause serious human injury. Kytch had been barreling towards a $50 million valuation in 2020 as it quickly expanded to fast food restaurants throughout the country, and its valuation in the following year was projected to be exponentially more. That all changed after the false ads, and Kytch was soon unable to court investors to help fund its exponential growth trajectory. Thus, McDonald's unlawful conduct had dire financial consequences for Kytch, its founders, investors, and its employees. Kytch brings this action to set the record straight, to vindicate the company's rights under civil law, to curb McDonald's anti-competitive conduct, to recover compensatory and punitive damage, and to protect the consuming public from false and misleading advertisements, and to finally fix McDonald's broken soft serve machines. So I'm now going to skip a lot of the meat in the middle here because we've gone over a lot of this in the previous video. I want to skip ahead to see what claims are being made. Plaintiff will have to make a short plain statement of the facts and a claim for relief, as well as a statement about jurisdiction. So let's get to the claim for relief. Here we are, the causes of action. First cause of action is tortious interference with a contract. Kytch entered into non-disclosure agreements with Kytch trial participants, including Tyler Gamble, Eric Wilson, all these people here. The NDA is part of the Kytch trial agreement, and terms of service constitutes a valid and enforceable contract which provided Kytch trial participants access to the Kytch solution in exchange for agreements of confidentiality, non-disclosure, for the sole purpose of furthering the Kytch trial. It prohibits Kytch customers from aiding or assisting any third party in developing or testing a product or service competitive to Kytch. This is how you protect trade secrets. Kytch is informed and believes that McDonald's conspired with, aided and abetted, or acted in concert with Taylor and other Kytch trial participants, or that their individual acts or omissions collectively inflicted a single indivisible injury on Kytch. Accordingly, McDonald's is liable for damages caused by their acts and omissions of those other entities. Second cause of action is false advertising, that McDonald's advertised that the Kytch device creates a very serious risk for the crew and technician, a safety issue. Third cause of action is false advertising under California law, similarly about the false claims of the safety issues. Fourth cause of action is trade libel, which would be a version of defamation. Falsely claimed to consumers, operators, and customers, and other players in the smart kitchen market that the Kytch solution is unsafe, prone to cause serious human injury, and unfit for use in smart kitchens. These were false claims. Fifth cause of action is intentional interference with business expectancy. Kytch developed a valuable contractual business relationship with McDonald's franchise operators, and McDonald's interfered, according to Kytch. McDonald's acted intentionally to induce Kytch's customers to discontinue their existing business relationship. It'd be one thing if McDonald's developed a better solution or Taylor developed a better solution on their own, and then those customers voluntarily switched from a competing product to a competing product. Instead, by doing it this way, violating trade secret agreements, violating confidentiality agreements, non-disclosure agreements, by making false statements, that's what makes it rise to the level of illegality. Negligent interference with business expectancy is just a different standard for that interference. Intentional would be with intent, whereas negligence would be kind of a known or should have known, or how would a reasonable person be expected to act. So lower standard. Seventh cause of action is deceptive trade practices under California law, that McDonald's threatened to void the warranties on machines which had a Kytch solution device attached, even though it lacked any legal basis to do so, and, in fact, it never did so. McDonald's conduct was intended to intimidate and scare Kytch's customers and prospective customers into ceasing business with Kytch, and to instead adopt McDonald's and Taylor's forthcoming competing product, or to continue using Taylor's costly replacement parts and repair services at an astronomical rate. So Kytch asks for injunctive relief, ordering that McDonald's, etc., be preliminary and permanently restrained from misappropriating, disclosing, or using Kytch's confidential information, that McDonald's recall and surrender all material wrongfully misappropriated or converted, that McDonald's, etc., be enjoined from further disseminating false and deceptive claims, that they withdraw and retrieve all communications, all offending communications from the marketplace, that they disseminate corrective communications to dispel the false and deceptive messages, that they be enjoined from further accessing Kytch's computer networks and data without permission, and that they be enjoined from using any information obtained from this illegal or unauthorized access. Kytch wants compensatory damages to be determined at trial, including lost profits, lost enterprise value, out-of-pocket expenses to protect its confidential information, and expenses incurred combating McDonald's false statements, exemplary and punitive damages, pre- and post-judgment interest, all expenses and costs, including attorney's fees, and other injunctive relief or other relief that the court deems appropriate. That sounds pretty bad. I would expect that if Kytch can prove all of that, that McDonald's will be found to have violated those laws, and Kytch will be due some kind of monetary award. I think it's terrible whenever a company is faced with a low-cost solution to an existing problem and they choose not to implement that solution because it's more profitable to keep paying repair fees or something. Like John Deere refusing to allow independent repair organizations to repair their tractors because it's more profitable for John Deere to send their own repair technicians. You know, the money can stay within their sphere of economic control. Well, it sounds like, if this is all true from Kytch, that McDonald's and Taylor want to keep the money within the sphere of McDonald's and Taylor's control. It makes me wonder if the executives or investors that control Taylor are also involved with McDonald's and are trying to funnel more of the money back into McDonald's or back into their own pockets at the expense of Kytch, who has been first to market with an obviously better solution. I think it's terrible. I don't support any of that. I support innovation, I support competition, and in any properly regulated free market, there should be a promotion of competition through innovation. And if Kytch has made a better product, which funnily enough is a complementary product, it's a symbiotic product, it is not a product that replaces Taylor machines, it makes Taylor machines work even better. Anybody who's familiar with these aftermarket products for cars knows that there are lots of companies out there that are trying to make car engines more efficient and things. It doesn't always work. But there's a big demand for those products, which is why those products get made to begin with. So here you have someone who made a third-party attachment for a Taylor machine that makes the machine work better, and the customers would benefit. The franchise operators and owners would benefit, but then Taylor would make less money, and somehow McDonald's would make less money because they're not going to be the operators of the open kitchen product that they've made, or they're not going to make as much money off that product or something. So it's all just profit motivated at the expense of consumers who would just like to get their darned McFlurries. Anyway, let me know what you think of that in the comments below. I'm looking forward to reading how you feel about this one. Yes, it replaces Taylor Repair Services, therefore Taylor makes less money, and those people are very, very interested in not making less money. They would like to make more money. Here's a thought. Maybe if they had simply made their machines better and not been greedy about keeping the repair services racket going, allegedly, then they wouldn't be here facing a lawsuit and facing competition. It's just short-sighted corporate greed, in my humble opinion. And that's today's video. Special thanks to my top supporters in March: John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Eevi, Spirit Bear, Benjamin Hitov, Ugly Grill, Gutbrodj, Torpedan, ShadowTycho, Earthbound Star, PureMagma, TechTechPotato, Eric Tams, The Blood-Soaked Survivors, and Wyatt Calandro. You can support Lawful Masses on patreon.com/ljfrench, sponsors.com/law, through YouTube memberships, and through Floatplane subscriptions. Join me for our weekly live production stream on twitch.tv/lawfulmasses on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern US time. I hope everyone has a great week. I love you all. Bye. I think it's pretty terrible when corporations have access to a solution and they refuse to implement that solution because, well, I'm going to be cleaning that up for a moment now.